How are you guys? What are you talking about, Willis? You don't have to film this. Why don't you help me real quick? So we have a conundrum. There is a baby goat, a toddler goat named Dottie that gets out of this pen nonstop, and she will go and try to get into the hutches. And so we're trying to set it up so she can no longer jump out of here. So we're doing our repairs. Now that the semester's over and I don't really have a minute, I'm going to try to do something to try and keep her in here so she can roam around and be with her mom and her aunt. That's it, boys. Be right there, more. Okay, so there is a children's book called The Wonderful Feast. And The Wonderful Feast starts off with a farmer bringing out the feed for the horses in the morning at the beginning of the day. So this is what we do. We go ahead and get a little bit of sweet feed to make these goats want to get in the milking stall. So Tonksy put herself in the milking stall, and so I give her some of that. The little feast continues. She knocks this over at some point or decides she's done, and a little bit of feed goes on the ground. What you'll see here is that the ducks will come on over and they say, "Oh my, what a wonderful feast." And then they come over and clean up. And then when they all leave, a mouse comes along and says, "Oh my, what a wonderful feast," and gets one of the last little pieces of sweet feed. But the point is, when you've got a bunch of different animals, nothing goes to waste. So these ducks are going to come clean up, and I actually literally, when I leave for the day, I leave this gate open because I want the ducks and the chickens to come in here and to clean up any loose feed, because I don't want cockroaches and mice and rats. Those are pests, and then the more you leave feed about, the more it attracts them. So we want to make sure that our animals that are worthwhile, that we want to have here, not the cockroaches and not the rats, but the ducks and the chickens and stuff, they get additional feed and nothing is really going to waste. So we're actually kind of being strategic by just leaving this thing open. Okay, now Tonksy does not like to be milked, but she needs to be because her udder is full. I'm going to grab this milk bucket real quick. So I've got the milk bucket. I have already sprayed a mix. I'll just do it again just to show y'all. A mix of tea tree oil, peppermint oil, and water. That is a more organic type of cleaning spray. See, she doesn't like it, and she is a stinker. She's gonna be a stinker until I start milking her. So I've cleaned her teats, wiped them off. Now I'm gonna start milking, and because these are dwarf goats, I hold one of her legs up. Now she's not gonna like, you kind of have to have a little bit of willingness to hold her. And now, once I start milking her, she chills out a little bit because it feels good for her to get this release, right? Because that is a lot of pressure on her udder. So I'm milking relatively fast. I just hold her leg here, somewhat gently, but aware that she might start kicking, and I don't want her to kick the bucket, if you will. But you don't, there's no crying over spilled milk, right? So, yeah. And then I'm gonna switch over to this other one. The worst thing about this is sometimes I miss and it gets on my pants and it kind of looks like I peed myself when I go about because the milk doesn't come up, but whatever. I ain't too embarrassed about it. Proud to be a farmer. So I'm milking her. She has a lot of milk. We used to milk them twice a day, now we do once a day out of convenience, and frankly I think it's just fine. They may prefer twice a day so that they get more relief, but they don't like being milked, really. These goats we did not raise from babies. Dottie we have raised from a baby, so she will probably be a little bit more accepting of being handled. Tonks was just weaned when we got her, and so she's cool with us. She just doesn't like to be milked, really. But once it gets, as you can see, she's chilled out. Once I start milking, she calms down because it's making her feel better. So I'm going to empty her udder, and then I'm going to bring over her mom, Dora. We're going to milk her. She's not quite as feisty about it. She's kind of accepted it more than Tonksy. Why don't you get her face? Show what her face looks like while she's getting milk. She's about ready to be done, though. Done? Good girl. You did good. You did good. And then I carefully put the lid back on the milk bucket, set it out of the way, because I don't want it to get kicked over. And then I'm going to let her out, and then she's going to go back into her pen and go hang out. Alright, now I'm going to bring over Dora. You guys want to go clean up some of that? Now Dora's heading on in. Want your feed, Dora? So she goes on up. She knows exactly what she wants, which is to get herself some sweet feed. She does not necessarily want to be milked, but that's what's going to happen. So now I'm going to clean her teats and udder, spraying that on there real good. Okay. And I'm going to take this, I'm going to be very cautious about where her feet are in relation to it. I'm going to open it up, set that there, pick up this leg and hold it out of the way so that I can have the angle. On many full-size goats, it would be easy just to sit down on your little milking stool and not have to hold up a leg, but these girls sit so low to the ground that to me it's easier just to hold up one of the legs. You're okay, baby. Why don't you go get the front angle? You stop?
No.
Okay, so the whole Wonderful Feast story, to me, it speaks to the community on a farm and how traditional farms have a community that is relationships between animals and humans, and plants and trees and the wild spaces and species outside of the farm and or within it. So just like we're talking about having, you know, human communities and how food is a part of that, I think that we also must think of the farm as being a community and the relationships between soil microorganisms, plants, animals, all that kind of stuff, and how they're interwoven. We're done milking. I've covered it all up. We're gonna go put it in the refrigerator right away. It's gonna stay in the fridge. I'm gonna milk again tomorrow, and then I'm gonna send it through filters and transfer it into a glass quart jar and put it in the fridge to make cheese out of or to drink. I use it in my coffee every day. It's delicious. Right now we're gonna throw Dottie back into the pen and just see if she can get out or not. Goats love red buds.
There we go.
Oh yay, this is Dottie's favorite. Sweet Dottie. So this is the difference between those goats who weren't raised by us and one that was. Repair gate in effect.
Yes, sir.